All right, it's Sunday, so we've got winners and losers to go over on the ATP Tour, and the Six Kings Slam is over, and Sinner is the winner. And Nadal and Djokovic played their final match, and I really think the Six Kings Slam became a bit more than an exhibition. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to preview Basel and Vienna, a couple of great ATP 500 tournaments. So we got a lot to get into. Let's do it. This is The Slice presented by Betway. Thanks for being here. Okay. Well, a lot of tennis has happened in the last few days, and we've got three winners in Europe in ATP 250s. We've got the draws set for Basel and Vienna, as I said. And yeah, we had some really interesting tennis happen at the Six Kings Slam, which I think you might agree with me, kind of became more than just a regular exhibition. Like there was a lot more money flying around, and I think a lot more people cared, and I'm going to explain why. But first of all, thanks for being here. Appreciate you subscribing, helping us get to 20,000 subscribers. The Slice is presented by our friends at Betway. Click the link below to check me out on the Betway feed, where I kind of give tips and picks as we watch tennis here on the channel. It's a great way to connect with us over on Betway. The Slice is also presented in part by Tennis TV. Yes, the Tennis TV. We are super stoked to be partnering with them, as it's the official streaming service of the ATP Tour and the best way for tennis fans like all of us to enjoy the sport we love. They have all the latest live action from the ATP Tour and endless archives of past matches, including Dominic Thiem beating all the big three. I was just on Tennis TV, and that showed, his victories against Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, because he's kind of doing a farewell tour right now. Very cool. If you miss a match, the replays and highlights are up quickly, and you can skip through the match easily. Click below to try it, and it's such, in my opinion, it's such a no-brainer for the true tennis fan. So appreciate you guys supporting our partners. All right, let's start in Europe, where we had, as I said, last week, we had Stockholm. I guess we had Antwerp, and we had Almaty, which is not in Europe. I guess it's in Kazakhstan. So I don't know what, that's Asia, I guess. But yeah, so for winners, let's go through it. We had Roberto Bautista Agut getting a win, which is great for him. He took out Felix Auger-Aliassime on the way to the final, and he takes out Yuri Lehechka in the final. So the old dog still has something to show the young boys. Let's say that. That's pretty good. Bautista Agut beats Hugo Gaston after beating Felix Auger-Aliassime, and then he beats Yuri Lehechka in the final. So that's impressive for the old guy. Okay, in Stockholm, Tommy Paul beat Grigor Dimitrov after beating Stanislas Wawrinka. So Tommy Paul wins his last four sets of the tournament, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4, 6-3. Played very good today against Dimitrov, the 4 seed beating the 3rd seed. That's Tommy Paul's 3rd title of the season. The only two players who have more titles than Tommy Paul, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. Yeah, pretty good year for Tommy Paul, and friend of the show, his coach, Brad Stein. Huge shout out. Big wins. Okay. In Kazakhstan, the Kazakhs were watching a Canadian, Gabriel Diallo, also friend of the show, narrowly lose to Karen Khachanov from Russia. So he's from the area. There was a lot of crowd there I saw that was supporting, and that's a big match. 3 sets. Gabe got the second set. It was almost 2.5 hours. And Gabriel Diallo has really showed that he is going to be a player on the ATP Tour going forward. I think he's up well inside the top 100 now, and you can see why. Making the final, 21 winners, 22 unforced errors. The veteran, Karen Khachanov, just gets it done. So that's good for him. Karen Khachanov, he's a pro. They actually played in Montreal in the first round, and Karen Khachanov kind of easily beat Gabe Diallo. This was like 2 months ago. I think it was 6-3, 6-3, or 6-2, 6-4, something like that. Better showing from Gabe here, obviously making the final of Almaty, and really, implanting himself in the top 100, which is awesome to see. We love to see it. Okay, let's go to the Six Kings Slam in Saudi Arabia. We talked about it on the last show, and the finals happened. Jannik Sinner takes out Carlos Alcaraz. The highlights are on the Tennis TV YouTube channel, which you can watch, as well as the Nadal versus Djokovic match, runner-up final, they called it. So crazy to watch that final. Again, I said the Six King Slam, I think, became a bit more than just definitely a bit more than a regular exhibition. We saw Djokovic and Nadal play one more time. They've played like 400 times on tour, and really emotional, again, intense, nostalgic, heavy to see them play one more time, this time in Saudi Arabia. But there were some vintage moments there. You could tell Djokovic is obviously the player that's in physical form to play. Nadal's retiring for a reason. He's not at his physical best. So this match had a lot more of an exhibition feel to it than Sinner Alcaraz did in the final, that's for sure. But at the end of the match, though, I think Nadal broke back, and he hit a few unbelievable kind of vintage forehands, Nadal forehands down the line, and gave a huge fist bump to the crowd. I thought that was really cool to see. There was no celebrating from Djokovic that I saw, which is very classy. No acknowledging the fact that he's not beating a guy who's at his physical peak, and he's kind of, I would say, probably a little bit emotional, remembering the battles that they've had over their career and the way that Nadal has pushed Djokovic to be the player that he is today. And really, these are arguably the two most dominant men's players of all time, and playing their final match in an exhibition in Saudi Arabia got a little bit of a weird flavor to it, but again, I think elevated the event amazingly, and there was a great crowd there, which was actually awesome to see. So that was cool. That was an emotional match, and let me know your thoughts on that below if you guys watched and you want to give a tribute to the Nadal Djokovic final match. But Sinner and Alcaraz played, and Sinner gets the win. So I know everyone's going to say, Alcaraz fans, it doesn't count. It won't be on the record, and that's true. But I think for Sinner, maybe a little mental victory. Wins in 3 sets after dropping the first one to Alcaraz. And obviously, Alcaraz had just beaten him in Beijing, and he had beaten him in Indian Wells earlier this year, or Miami. I'm getting that mixed up. I can't remember right now. But that's a good win for Sinner on hard court over Alcaraz. We know that Sinner is the best player on hard court, but he's lost twice this year to Alcaraz, both times they've played on hard court. But this was a really high-level, intense match. It had the feeling of just any of the other matches they played. It doesn't count for the official record. But incredible ball striking. Sinner really looking just like he's in bot mode, where he can do whatever he wants. He hits the ball so hard. He's moving better and better and better all the time. The match point, if you go and watch it, was like an example of the level of tennis and confidence that he's playing at right now. Just huge swinging volley, and he hit that swinging volley as hard as you could physically hit a tennis ball, I think, and still was easily in the court. And Alcaraz kind of just had to, congratulate him and say, "Too good, mate." But 3 sets, big match there, and I think the Six King Slam, for the amount of coin that the Saudis dropped on these guys, they definitely got a lot out of it. Seemed like great tennis and really cool moments. Alcaraz, Nadal playing, Djokovic, Sinner playing, Djokovic, Nadal playing, and Alcaraz, Sinner playing. That's what you want. The 6 kings, really the 4 kings, made it through. So that's good. Alcaraz and Sinner not in Basel or Vienna. So that's Stockholm. This is that's Vienna. And neither guy are in these draws, but let's look at the draws and break them down. Okay, first up, we got the Swiss Indoor Basel, which I've been to 2 years ago. Great tournament. Felix Auger-Aliassime won it in 2022. We'll see if he can do something this year. I don't even know if he's there. He's the 8th seed. Andrei Rublev's the number 1 seed. Casper Ruud is the number 2 seed. And in their quarters, I love these tiny draws. These are the best. So in Andrei Rublev's quarter, he's got Ben Shelton as the 6th seed, and he's got home favorite Stanislas Wawrinka in there, as well as Marin Cilic, Alejandro Tubila, and Echeverry Manarino. Tsitsipas is the 3rd seed. He's got Artur Fils in there, as well as Bublik, a few other guys. Very dense, very dense. Holger Rune is the 4th seed. He's got Hugo Humbert in his quarter, as well as wildcard Dominic Stricker. And then in the bottom corner, Casper Ruud has the 8th seed Felix Auger-Aliassime in his quarter. So if you're Felix Auger-Aliassime, Canadian guy, friend of the show, he's had a really, really rough last while. Really rough. Is this a tournament where he can find some good memories? Should he beat Sebastian Baez? Yes, he should beat Sebastian Baez, just serve him off the court. He should. But his serve hasn't really been there, and that's been a problem. Then is he going to beat James Duckworth or Mpeshi Perricard? Yes, he should. Mpeshi Perricard is the biggest server on tour, but Felix should get balls back and then just be able to outplay him. But he's very dangerous. And then it's Casper Ruud or Denis Shapovalov, who got a wild card. But this is a quarter where I think Felix can make a run in and start to get his form back, because it's got to just feel terrible if you're him, because it hasn't been back for a while. So there's the draw preview in Basel. Great tournament, awesome indoor event. Sad I'm not there, but it's going to be a great one. And then let's go now to Austria, where we've got the Erste Bank Open, the ATP 500 in Vienna. Zverev is the top seed. De Minaur is the second seed. So in Zverev's quarter, we've got the 6th seed Lorenzo Musetti, and Grigor Dimitrov is the 3rd seed. He's got the 7th seed Jack Draper in his quarter, as well as Dominic freaking Thiem. So they are kind of doing a bit of a farewell tour for Dominic Thiem. They've already played exhibition match with him and Zverev, and they're kind of saying bye. And it's it's sad. It's sad to see. It's like you're almost like watching a guy that you know is gonna, like, he's not dying obviously, but in tennis worlds he's like dying. It's like someone you know that is like terminally ill. You're like saying goodbye in real time. It's very sad. Like, obviously that's a bit extreme, but in the tennis equivalent, I think it's relevant. And yeah, I'm still sad. But again, if you want to see Dominic Thiem highlights and relive some amazing memories, go to Tennis TV, link below, and you can watch all these replays of him versus Federer in Rome in 2016, him versus Djokovic, him versus Nadal, all in like perfect definition. Don't have to go on YouTube and watch some like scrubbed out version. You can just watch it clean on the main source. So anyways, that's in Vienna. This is the draw. So who's seed? So Thiem is in Grigor Dimitrov's quarter, as well as Kei Nishikori, who also got a wild card, and Jack Draper, Thomas Machak, Fabian Marozsan, Jishan Zhang. So many good players. Francis Tiafoe is the 5th seed. He's in Tommy Paul's quarter. Tommy Paul Titletown, who's the 4th seed. Tommy Paul plays Brandon Nakashima, who beat him actually in Montreal. Matteo Berrettini's in that quarter. Cameron Norrie, very dense draw. And then De Minaur is the 2nd seed on the bottom, with Alexei Popyrin, the 8th seed in his quarter, as well as Flavio Caboli, and a bunch of other great players as well. So yeah, there is the draws. Basel, Vienna, both going to be great tournaments. Again, do these tournaments matter in the long scheme of things? I think it matters a lot for players like Rublev, players like players who are trying to make the ATP finals, which are, they don't show who is confirmed on the tour, so that's not great. But maybe they do here. And Rublev's trying to confirm his spot. Ruud's trying to confirm his spot. And yeah, the points in these tournaments matter for them big time. Alex De Minaur, Tommy Paul potentially could sneak in. Honestly, I feel like a guy like Tommy Paul deserves it more than some of the other guys above him, based on the year he's had. But that's going to be a tight race there for Casper Ruud, Andrei Rublev, De Minaur, Tommy Paul, Dimitrov, all trying to make the year finals. Tsitsipas, crazy that he's not there anymore. So yeah, these tournaments do matter for those for the end of the year race. Obviously this is the end of the season. Guys are tired, but some of these guys are making great pushes, great runs of form. So good for them. But anyways, that's a preview. That's a recap of the final Nadal Djokovic match. Happened in Saudi Arabia. Sinner played unbelievable in Saudi Arabia. Is he going to bring that into the Paris Masters and then the ATP Finals? Is he going to clean house there? Wouldn't shock me. And we had 3 great ATP 250s around Europe and Asia in Kazakhstan. So anyways, that's the slice on all the above. Thanks for being here. Check out the links below, the Betway feed and Tennis TV. Give it a try. We'll see you next time here on The Slice. Thanks for being here.